Hey guys, Dean of Games here to do a top 5 games of the year. A lot of people do the top 10. I've got 5, and I've got 3 that are sort of honorable mentions. One of them would have made my top 10, maybe even 2. The third one, it's not really a board game, it's a card game. But if I were to include it, it would make my top 10 for sure. So let me start with that one, and that is Keyforge. Keyforge got a lot going for it. By Richard Garfield, of course, who did Magic the Gathering, and back in the day, I played a lot of Magic the Gathering. This one is different. It's set up differently in that you get a deck, and that deck then becomes the only deck you'll play. You can't add to it, take away from it, or anything else. That deck you play to get another deck. I've got about 10 decks in here. Really enjoy it. Every game seems a little different to me. And I'm sure they're going to come out with something other than Call of the Archons eventually, and have other cards and other decks that we'll have in our decks. So really like Keyforge, and that would make my top 10. So, but it wouldn't make my top 5, I don't think. So maybe it will eventually, but for right now, it's in the top 10. Put that to the side over here somewhere. Put it in the front there. Next, this one I bought earlier in the year. Really liked it. Plays from 2 to 4 players. I played it with some of my nieces and nephews, actually nephews and their wives or fiancés. Really had a good time with it, and that is, and I played with my boys and we liked it too. And that is Thanos Rising. Thanos Rising, of course, based on the comic books, based on the Marvel comic books, and also I guess to some extent the Infinity War. It's called Avengers Infinity War, Thanos Rising. Really cool though. It's got the Thanos figure, various dice that you roll that you can then assign to different attributes, or you can use them to attack. There's a lot of things about this game I like. It's simple, but it surprised me. The theme itself, I always like Marvel and comic book themes, but I really wasn't sure I was going to like this particular game because it just wasn't positive. Picked it up, and really it was quite a good surprise. So this would be in my top 10, but not my top 5. And let me put that on top of Keyforge here. And then lastly, in my top 10, just missing my top 5, this probably would have been 6, is a larger game, and that is Fireball Island. Now, Fireball Island is a remake of a classic 80s game, also called Fireball Island, but they've added some things to it. I think this one's ripe for some house rules, if you ask me, which we may do. We like better penalties when your player is hit and knocked down. Like maybe you lose more than just one item, or maybe you have to give an item to the person who knocked you down. I don't know. We're looking at that. But in any event, we like Fireball Island. We think it's a lot of fun. It's a retro game, really light box. And a lot of people are saying it's a flimsy box. It is, but I've got some heavy stuff on top of it. It hasn't squished it or anything. So, Fireball Island, the Curse of Volcar. That would be number 6. Put that over there on the side. Let me rearrange these things a little bit here. There we go. There. Now, by the way, this bag right here that I have, I got off Amazon. I believe it's for some sort of a drum. So it's supposed to hold the drum, but this is one of the better ones I've found as far as being able to hold a lot of games and hold them quite well. So I will unzip this, and my top 5 are in here. So let me turn it this way to get at them, because this top drops down. So number 5, and these are all subject to change. The more I play the game, the more it may go up. But right now, number 5 is Chronicles of Crime. Got this a while ago, and really, really enjoy this one. It's a game that allows you to use your app on your phone to interrogate quite a few witnesses. And I'll just show you this real quickly because it's a light box and I can get away with it. If you take the board out, everything fits in here nicely, and this tray actually kind of snaps in. It's just a clear plastic tray into another plastic tray. So all your characters stay nicely in there. Nothing falls out. Now, the bottom here, nothing's holding this stuff. But the top where the cards are, where the little cards and the big cards, both your items and your suspects or your witnesses and those types of things all up top. Really like it. It's a reusable game. In other words, those same characters could appear in another mystery as different people. No reason why they couldn't. There's 55 characters, I believe, and so makes for a lot of good crimes to solve. I'm on the first one still, but I played the tutorial and dabbled with the other ones quite a bit, so I have a pretty good idea of how this is going to play. Really gets your brain going, and there's no easy answers. Even the easier puzzles or crimes are not all that easy. So Chronicles of Crime will stretch your brain, will make you think. Hopefully, if you can complete those, you can become very detective-like. All right, now, number 4. And I've struggled a lot with these, but I'm going to go this way with it. Even into the last minute, I'm still struggling with which one's 4, 3, and so on. We're going to go with this one for number 4, and that's War Chest. Boy, what a unique game this is. It reminds me a little of chess. It certainly is a strategic game, an abstract game. You've got a board. You've got beautiful, I would describe them as like poker chips that have a certain character on it or piece on it. And you can see those pieces represented here on the front. That's what would be on the poker chip. Those then have certain moves. There's cards that show you how to move them, but they're pretty simple. Some can shoot a couple squares if they're like archers and things. Both sides have different characters, and they will change from game to game because it's all a random choice. Out of the 16 that are available, you pick 4. Now, in a 4-player game, everybody would have all 16. But really, an intricate game and a good strategic game. Really enjoying War Chest. Very well made pieces and very well made box, magnetic closure on it, everything. Heavier than hell because of those chips that are in there. Really enjoy it. War Chest. We put it on top of Fireball Island just to show you how much that can hold. That's heavy. All right, next, number 3. I'm going to go with Everdell. Everdell, really good game. Kind of a Germanish Euro game in that it's got a lot of, you're building a table of places. Really enjoyable. The tree, the Ever tree that's here, it really adds a lot to the ambiance of the game, though nothing to the actual play of the game. But a lot of fun. Really enjoy this one. I'm playing it Sunday, as a matter of fact, so I'm going to play the solo one to bone up on it a little bit. But I'm playing with 3, which is what Board Game Geek recommends is the best number. But plays anywhere from 1 to 4. Really like Everdell. The solo game on this is really nice. So, Everdell, number 3. Number 2, all right, we're going to go with this one for 2. Save that one for last. Number 2 is one that I haven't seen on a lot of people's lists, and I can't figure out why. It's called Vindication. I've played it numerous times. I played it with 2, with 3, with 4, and with 5. It scales exceptionally well. This has got a great case inside to hold all the figures, to hold all the cards. It's really, really a nice game. It feels sort of open world-ish, but in the end you're getting points. You're trying to get points to redeem yourself, and eventually you can become vindicated. Well, I don't know if that's the right name for this board game. You're supposed to be a scum as you start out the game, because you were thrown overboard. But ultimately, you become, not vindicated, but how about redeemed? Redemption might have been a better title than vindication, but you're looking to redeem yourself by doing some good deeds, whatever those might be. And along the way, you may do some bad deeds that won't help you to become vindicated. You don't have to become vindicated to win. In fact, every game I've played so far, only once was somebody vindicated, because you just don't have to concentrate on that. It's good if you do, because you get some easier ways to win, but and the person who won was that game who was vindicated did win, because it does give you quite an advantage once you do that. Anyway, really good game. I really highly enjoy this game. I'm surprised more people don't have it or aren't talking about it. It's a lot of fun. I'm bringing this also Sunday to play with the same guys. So that's that one. And last but not least, it's a game that I look forward to ever since I heard about it. I did not back it on Kickstarter. I wish I had. but instead I just picked it up, and I just had the base game, but the base game's enough to put it at number 1, and that is Western Legends. Total open world game. You get points by mining for gold, playing poker, exploring either kind of a good guy side or bad guy side. You can become wanted or become a lawman who kind of tracks down those who are wanted. You can, and you're represented by, it could be Annie Oakley, it could be Billy the Kid. There's at least 2 expansions that were with the Kickstarter that I don't have, but there's one coming out here shortly in the first quarter that I'll be looking for called Ante-Up, which is going to totally change the game. Introduce the railroad train and the ability to rob that instead of just a bank, and introduce more of a heavier poker theme to the card game that's here. You do get a standard 52 card deck. However, in addition to the Ace of Spades, it also has some action things on it, so you can do that as well. But Western Legends is my number 1, and these could change as I play Vindication more. Maybe that'll become number 1, or maybe it'll be Everdell, or maybe it'll be War Chest. I don't know. And maybe Western Legends will cement itself as number 1, as I think it will the more I play it. But all these are fairly recent acquisitions. A lot of these came out later in the year. Vindication was a later acquisition for me toward the end of the year, last quarter. Same with Western Legends. So they will and do change places quite often. But I'm sure you want the Western Legends in there someplace. I just think that these 5 in particular, War Chest, Vindication, Everdell, Chronicles of Crime, and Western Legends, all deserve to be on everybody's shelf. So if you don't have any of them, check them out. See if they're your style of game, of course. But I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. And looking forward to playing Everdell and Vindication this coming Sunday. So anyway, guys, have a great weekend. It's a Friday night here. I'm about ready to go grab a drink, a gin and Sprite. Start my evening out. I'm going to play some solo Everdell for a while and cook some dinner. All right, guys, take care. See you soon.